Our next speaker is Philippe König, Chief Digital Officer and Head of Strategy from Arbonia. I am very pleased to have Philippe on this CLM Summit presentation. Welcome, Philippe.
Well, thank you.
And we are really looking forward to hear your presentation and thoughts about how an increase and improved CPQ solution can move forward and help you to increase your efficiency and overall revenue generation. So really looking forward for your presentation.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the invitation. Pleasure to be here. Okay, so let's start on how we are at Arbonia are implementing our new solution, which is aiming at streamlining the mainly offering process. I would like to structure the presentation a bit in introducing Arbonia first. As you might have seen in the short video, it was tagged as Prüm and Garant Digital. So since Arbonia is a holding company, I would like to spend a few minutes to explain what business we do and what business we are focusing on. Or in other words, for what business we are implementing the solution I'm about to show. And then in the second part, actually speak about the solution, show you a few screenshots, a few things we are planning to do, and also give a quick outlook on what's ahead for us and where we currently stand. Okay, then let's jump right in. So Arbonia is a holding company. We are publicly quoted on the Swiss Stock Exchange, and we are divided into two divisions, as we call it. We have the one division, which is HVAC, which stands for heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And then we have one division, which is doors. In that division, we produce doors on one side, which is then the business unit wood solutions, but we also have a business unit glass solution. And today we are only focusing on the wood solution, and more precisely for the two big companies that we have in the business unit wood solution, which is Prüm and Garant. Arbonia as a whole has roughly 1.2 billion of revenue. You see how many FTEs we have. So we have quite a few companies, and our business models for each company differs a bit. So that's why I will also spend a few minutes talking about the business model from Prüm and Garant. I think it's important for a better understanding of the solution that we are implementing. So as I said, we are focusing on Prüm and Garant today, who are producing doors. So when I say doors, it's only interior doors. One needs to know that the doors market is completely different for exterior doors. So the door that you have or see when you enter a building, and the doors that you have inside of a building. So we are only doing interior doors, and Prüm and Garant are German production plants where we together produce roughly 1.7 million doors per year. They are our biggest plants, and what you see on the next slide is how those doors are being sold. So the German interior door market it's a bit simplified here, can divide it into three distribution channels. So we have the first channel where the doors are being sold to the wholesalers, specialist dealers, and then sold to an installer, and then to the end user. So the end user would be you and I, who have the doors at home. Normally we don't, the end user does not install the door himself or herself, as it's quite complicated to install a door. So normally you have an installer installing that door for you, and that installer buys most of the doors at a wholesaler. And that you can also see here on the numbers. There's roughly 9 million doors being sold per year in Germany, and roughly 70% of those doors are sold in that distribution channel. But then also in Germany, you have obviously the DIY stores, where you as an end customer can go into a DIY store, buy a door there, and then normally install it yourself. And then the third channel is the project business, where doors are being sold to a dedicated project. That's then normal. It can be anything from a hospital to hotels to bigger residential buildings, where it's not a private client who finally buys that door, but it's more institutional investors who do those project business. So Prüm and Garant is mainly in the wholesale specialist dealers segment. And according to the numbers we have and the market studies, we also have the biggest share in that segment. And this is also the segment that we are targeting the solution that we are currently implementing together with Configit. Okay, so moving on to the solution that we want to implement, or the customer journey that we envision. So the construction market as a whole is not highly digitized, and also not the sale of a door. And we want to change that. We want to digitize the whole sales, offer, and ordering process, from the end client to the manufacturer, which would be us, who goes through those different stages. So from end client to installer to a wholesaler and then to the manufacturer. So what here, we start from the other side, obviously, from the end user side, where he first sees the need for a new door, be it for he's renovating his house or he's building a new house. So he needs to first get an idea. So that he would do digitally, and I will show in a bit how we make sure that that's actually possible. Then normally the end user is not able to buy a door right from the shelf. Actually, so if you're not really familiar with interior doors, an interior door is more than just a wooden board. It's actually quite a complicated product. It takes about 50 attributes to configure a door, which also normally needs to be done by a professional. So end users will normally not configure until the end his door. That it's normally done by a professional. So he normally will be consulted in one of the showrooms from our dealers, where he can actually see some of the doors. He will get a consultation there. And then the dealer normally will also then configure the door to the end. And that will be in step 3 here, which I will also show a few print screens and a few slides about the solution that we are implementing. And then this is then between the dealer business and the manufacturer. So would be the 4th step on how they order doors. And then the very last step in this customer journey would be to show all of our clients, and I say all because I mean the end user, the wholesaler, and maybe sometimes the installer, they need to know where the orders are currently standing. So we also want to implement a order tracking tool at the very end. But I will go into more details through this customer journey in my next slides now. So let's go back to the end user, where he decides, hey, I want to renovate my doors. I want new doors. I'm building a house. I need doors for that house. So what we are offering is a web-based solution. So he can go to the internet sites from Prüm and Garant and get a first feel on what kind of doors he would like to configure. The problem we have with doors is that there's literally billions of different variants of doors. So you can choose the design of a door, you can choose the height, the width of a door, you can choose the surface of the door, you can have different hinges in different colors, and all these variations are very, very difficult to show in a showroom, as in a showroom you'll always have limited space and only limited for physical doors. So the problem we have these days is when a client goes in, one of our clients in a dealer's showroom, they ask for a door and they envision something, but the dealers cannot always show that door, because exactly that door that the client is asking for is not in a showroom, because there's such a huge variability in the different doors. So what you see here on the screen is basically how he can configure a door and how he gets the first idea very visually on what kind of door he would like. Does that door have glass? Is it a flat door where it's only fully wood? What color is it? And he also has the possibility to show that door with a different floor. So he can change the floor in this tool. He can change the wall in this tool to have a better visualization on what that door could look like in his home. So let's say the end user is actually doing that. He he likes a few doors that he configured here. He can have saved as those doors as favorites, which you can see here, and this list can then either be brought or printed. So the idea is that the end user is at home, configures some of the doors very visually, and then saves some of the favorites, either prints this list or keeps that list on his phone, and then with that list goes into a showroom of one of the wholesalers or dealers. And what we install then on the showrooms is what you see on the left side. We call this point of experience. It's basically a terminal. On this terminal on the left side, you see that software that's available on the web is also available on that terminal, which you can then use with a touch screen. And the nice thing about this solution is you can then show the door that you configured on a life-sized screen. So you would actually see the door in the real size on a huge screen. So that screen is it's a 2-meter screen. It's 4K solution, so you will see the door in a very high resolution and the actual door that you like. So for our dealers, that's a good solution to save a lot of space, because they do not need to have a huge showroom anymore where they show 100 of different doors. You can have this point of experience where you are able to show 1 million different doors, and you can be sure you also show the door that the client actually wants, and the client can actually see it in life size. You can also see on the picture on the right hand side, we have next to this terminal, we also have a few doors that you can draw out, just to give you a feel on the surface of the doors, because the surface of a door is actually quite important. So we are trying to combine the digital customer journey and also the analog customer journey. Then let's say the end user can see his door. He's fine with that. He at the same time gets a consultation in one of the showrooms on what kind of door he wants. There's also what you probably cannot see is the function of a door. So some of the doors are noise proof, some of the doors are fireproof. This is obviously something that you cannot visualize, but that you need to select in order to order a door in the end. And also for an offer, it's very important on what functions that you show in a door. So what happens next is that configuration that we had on these terminals can then be sent by the dealer into the actual configuration tool. And that's what you see on the right-hand side. This configuration tool is a cloud solution where the dealer has a login for, and he will see the moment he sends this configuration from the point of experience to that cloud configurator, already an offer is created. Now, in order to finalize one of those doors, a lot of different attributes and values need to be selected by a professional. One example, as I said, was the function of a door. Does it need to be fireproof? Does it need to be noise proof? And many more like that. As I said, it's roughly 50 attributes that need to be configured in order for us to calculate the price and for us to then, in the end, create an offer from this. So this is done automatically in the first step. We're working here with defaults. So all attributes that are not from the visual configurator are being sent to the actual professional configurator will be set with the default value, and as a result, we can already give a first price. But then if you go one step further, that's then now one step into the actual configuration. And here you can see on the left side, there's already a few first selections or configurations that you do in order to get to your final door. So as the first part is all the functions, then you can still change, obviously, the design of a door in case you change your mind. You can also then decide, do I want a frame with the door or do I only need the leaf? Normally, for end customer, they normally buy a leaf and a frame, particularly when they are in a new house. When they renovate, they might only change the leaf. All these decisions can then be taken here. And then when we go one step further, this is a bit small, but should only give you an idea on what needs to be configured. On the right side, this is then where you see the actual configuration. This is the short version for professionals. There's even a longer version that has all of those 50 attributes. Here you can actually select what lock you want, what is your select, and then on the right hand side you get your price calculation. Since this configuration is in the cloud, we also, and it's with the login, all our dealers can log on here and they also see their discounts. So they will at this point already see what price they will need to pay us. With the old configuration configurators that we had, that was not possible since they were not in the cloud. So since we are moving the configurator into the cloud, this is a huge advantage for us because we can guarantee to all our dealers that they will at any point in time will see the correct price that they have to pay us for the specific door. Now then, if he is happy with his configuration, he can move one further, and this is then the price calculation that the dealer can see. So you will have different positions that you can see here with this divided with these blue bars. That's one position. One position is always one door, and he can see that's on the dealer side only now. He can see what price he will have to pay to the manufacturer. He can see his discounts. Discounts is a quite complex topic for us because it's not only just one discount. Depending on the door that he configured, there's different discounts. So different surfaces on the door provide a different discount than let's say a frame or other surfaces. But all this knowledge is in the configurator, and as a result, the dealer is able to see his price that he will have to pay to the manufacturer. From this point on, we are still in the situation that the end client might have been in the showroom, like he did the visual configuration, has sent it to the professional configuration. The dealer would then go maybe on the other side of the desk, have the end client still in front of him, so the end client wouldn't see that screen. He would then, the dealer would finish the configuration, see the price, can then say, okay, that price plus 20% is the price that the end user would need to pay. And when he put that numbers in, he can, from this point on, then do a offer. And that's the huge advantage that we will have once this is finally completely implemented, that from the point where the end user decided for what kind of door he wanted until the dealer is able to give him an offer is only minutes. So he will have the option to go into print or create an offer from this point on, print it out and give it to the end user within a few minutes. This process took days. So it was not possible before to give an offer to the end user before we implemented that or until we have implemented that. And obviously, it's a huge sales argument to give the end user an offer right then and there and not let him off the hook anymore. Now, where do we stand with this customer journey? We have these point of experience and this software that we have on the web are already live. So this is out there. This is also when you saw in the introductory video that was again presented at the BAU. The BAU is a trade fair that happens every 2 years, one of the biggest construction fairs in Munich, where we presented those solutions again. And we also presented the professional configurator, which will come as a next step. However, we haven't fully implemented this yet. We're aiming to go live in 2023, and in the back of this professional configurator is actually the solution from Configit. So we're working here with Configit model as a basis, where all this logic for what doors can we configure, what doors do we want to sell, and then also the whole pricing and discounting is done in Configit Quote. And then on top of Configit Quote, we build our own front end, which the print screens are taken from. So everything that you saw in blue are taken print screens from these professional configurators, but in the background is always Configit model or Quote who are holding the logic or basically are the engines for this configurator. This is how much I can tell you today or present you today. Then when we go further in this process, it gets more vague. Let's say from this point on, when we have the offer, we want to implement an automatic ordering. However, on our side, we are not ready to do this yet. We are currently also in a larger ERP transformation, and we will need to have this concluded before we will be able to have an automatic ordering and offer this automatic ordering to our clients as well. And that's also including the order tracking. And that's basically sums up the customer journey that we want to digitalize. It's still a bit of work ahead of us, but that's what we're aiming for and on track for now.
Thanks a lot, Philippe, for enlightening and giving our insight on your customer journey for your dealer distribution channel. So in your presentation, you also described, the visual configurator, web configurator. How do you make sure that the underlying data from the different systems is always accurate and correct in real time?
It's a good question, and the answer is not one that I'm very pleased to give, because for now it's manual work. We have not one common database yet. So it's really, the visual configurator is much less complex than the professional configurator. So we are at the moment still able to manually ensure that data is correct through testing, through the years of the software that has been live. But the moment we have our ERP transformed, we will need one data source, and that data source will then feed not only the visual configurator but also the professional one. So as of the moment, these are completely separate, but we will need to change this sooner or later.
So Philippe, was the SaaS solution, the cloud offering, a deal breaker for you to implement this project?
No, I would actually the opposite. So we needed to have a SaaS solution. Because particularly now these days when inflation is still high and prices increases are very important, this will give us the opportunity to increase prices quicker. Today, this is also a very manual process that takes us literally months to do. Because our current configurators are locally installed at our clients. So every time we have a price increase, we need to make sure there's CDs are sent, CD-ROMs are sent, or the new configurator is downloaded by our clients in order for them to see the price increases. However, the moment we will be in the cloud, then those price increases will be available to everyone right that moment. However, the cloud brings a few challenges with it, obviously, and the biggest one is the performance.
Yeah. Super. Thanks a lot for your presentation, Philippe, and thanks for joining us and making the presentation here at the CLM Summit 2023.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.